Hi guys, sorry about being late after a couple of days starting another. It seems I just cleared the transmission. Just a second. I am doing a mistake here. Oh, it seems it's in place. Yeah, it's in place. Hey guys, so sorry for being late. Just starting here our English transmission. If this is your first time, my objective here is to narrate from the order flow perspective and show how this could be complementary to your own technical analysis. So it's not a signing room. We do not give calls. Hi forex, how you doing? What's up? So we are just starting here, session after funk. Even though we are in a correction, we are seeing the correction now. Market still really bullish. We open with a gap, strong gap, and now even with this correction, we reached the 615. We had a long-term Fibonacci at 620. Then 620 was a region that I was looking at. I was curious. If you see here at my weekly chart from the ATH in January 22 to the low at October, we have this Fibonacci retracement here at the 620. So I was curious about what would be going to happen here. And considering funk yesterday, GDP today, we opened the regular session with a gap around the 630. Failed to trade below the 625. This was another bullish signal. And then when lost the 20, it got stuck at 20. It reached only the 615, okay? Reminding that we had a strong 625 was a support, was the lower end of a range, and it had a huge absorption, buying absorption from sellers. Sellers really pushed it up there, and buyers absorbed all or a huge amount. And then 625 now is an important reference I have. And in this latest time here, prices failed in reaching 625. So even though we are in a bullish perspective, this fail to reach the 625 is somehow relevant for me. And looking at the 15 minutes and remembering that my base is also order flow. I started with charts or technical analysis, and throughout the time I started studying the tape reading order flow. So here my objective is to mix both perspectives and show the advantage of using both. And then I'm always looking at the charts as well, even though I do not take decision exclusively based on charts. I like seeing them. I like watching and taking clues. So we had, I was showing the guys, I was in a Portuguese transmission. We've seen this triangle here, the 15-minute chart. When you had the breakout at the lower, at the support line of the triangle, prices displaced 10 points downwards. So It was actually a triangle and it's been broken out. But we are seeing that 615 so far has been a good resistance. If we see here, look at my third volumetric bar, we see that sellers really push it up here, but buyers absorb it. So what we are seeing is, oh Adam, you are there, man, I was missing you. Then what we are seeing is, even though we are currently in a micro downtrend in the session, it's not been easy. We are seeing buyers absorbing throughout all the way, This is not a surprise considering all the macroeconomic scenario we are seeing, okay? And in my understanding, the positive GDP with the GDP above market forecast and the GDP price index below market forecast, also it helps adding fuel to this macroeconomic or this funk press conference and funk statement we had yesterday. So it's a kind of condition that even seeing downtrends, I try to be careful because as day trader, sometimes you see, oh, it's a clear downtrend. We embrace this cause, but forget about the macro perspective. So it's obviously natural to see corrections, but I'm always try to avoid getting biased, but I understand that we have lots of bullish evidence that could prevent a stronger or long-lasting intraday correction, but let's see. So far we found resistance here in the 15. We've just seen guys facing strong difficulty to overcome the 20. Now moving downwards, it's failing to reach the 15 again. So it's possible. The challenge here is to see where market finds liquidity, and so they could find here from 615 to 620. Let's see if it will be the case. Let's see. Let me pass through the charts because look here in the 5 minutes. This is interesting, okay? Price touched, respected as a support. This is a 20 period exponential moving average. It respected, moved upwards as one could expect. We had a not strong, but we had the first green candle here, but failed, look here, failed to make the high, not only reach 25, but failed to reach 24. Stop it here in 350. This was not that bullish. This is a kind of bearish signal, okay? Now we are returning to this moving average. We're in a downtrend, respected, moved upwards, and failed to kind of reach the previous top. So this is not that bullish. And then at this time, I tend to understand that the likelihood of continuing downwards tend to be a bit higher than to just make a rejection and move upwards again. Let's see which will be the case, but in this second touch, after failing to make a new high, to make a new top related to the previous one, this is more bearish than bullish. Let's see. But anyway, 15 is a strong region here, 1550. It will not be, even if we see price trading below the 1650, it does not mean that it would be easy to lose the 1550 here. Let's see. Let's see what will be the case. Let's see here. Let's look at volumetric bars. Few contracts, did you see from 18 to, let's see if we see an exhaustion here. Let's see if sellers will keep pushing or, well, I was, an exhaustion 1350. 13 was a region that I had pointed as important before. It passed easily. I just mentioned that it could be difficult to lose the 15, and it just make the opposite. But this happens. We're always telling about likelihood. So 13 could be a support, and it seems that, oh, the 15. So overcoming or losing the 15 as it did, it was actually a surprise for me, and this shows me that it's a bit bearish in this moment than I was thinking. So that fail at the 20 was meaningful. So the point here, the region here is 10. The most important is 606 to 608. That was for many times an important region. But 10 is important as well. Let's see. So if this time prices fail to overcome or to even reach 1550, is another confirmation about the weakness. If, for example, if overcome and we see an exhaustion at 1650, this could confirm the weakness. It reached the 1525. We see an exhaustion right there. So it was too easy to lose the 15. It was strange. So when it's easy, such as it was, it would not be a surprise if it would be easy to overcome it again. But now we are seeing sellers absorbing at 1450 here. Let's see. You see, we had an exhaustion at 1525. Then, yeah, let's see. Now an exhaustion at 1575. It would be interesting to see here if we see sellers making aggressive orders and buyers absorbing above the 15. This wouldn't necessarily mean the continuity, but this could increase the likelihood of moving upwards and maybe heading to 20 again. Oh, let's see here. You see that sellers started putting pressure and buyers absorbing 1550. An exhaustion here at 16. Let's see. It's going. But in this case, it was unusual the way price moved downwards. And so when it's so easy that it was, it's many times easy to make the opposite move again. Let's see which will be the case. Anyway, in a downtrend, this shows us another lesson, interesting lesson. In a downtrend, lower end of range many times are not respected. This was the case, such as in upward moves, in uptrends, when we are considering the range and in favor to the trend or favorable to the trend, sometimes it can pass. It was the case here. Let's see until where it's going to. Let's see if it will be strong enough, buyers will be strong enough to reach at least here, the 18, 19 region. We've seen the 23.75, 24.25. If we see, the important will be here for some minutes, but if we're continuing afterwards, just making the context here. 23.75, this here is very important, 23.50 to 4.50, and we had a strong absorption. The strongest breakout was in 25. Buyers tried to defend, make a huge absorption, and failed. Then, oh, Aaron, nice, man. Good. It was strange to make such a move, wasn't it? So, this is, I would say, that the main region I would be looking at, the 2350, and overcoming it, reaching 26 maybe, and absorbing at the buyer side, then we could see a new upward moves. But it seems that this region of 23.25 could be the decisive one in the case price are able to reach there, because it could fail to even reaching. Let's see. Let me put in 4,000 ticks. You know that I like using the 4,000 ticks. Just let me clear here. We're seeing, I like the 15-minute. It gives me some perspectives. And look here, we have big candles. Red candle, a green one, a big red one. In theory, pressure remains bearish at this moment, okay, nah? Isn't it? Price didn't even reach the view up. Now putting pressure downwards. But we're still 0.77% up. Let me see the 6 minutes. Yeah, at 6 minutes we had a big red candle. As I was telling before, it would be also healthy, interesting, but also healthy to see a test here. If we see prices reaching the 680, 80, 50, 9, 10, or maybe the 6 was a good reference. If we see prices touching here, especially if we see a strong rejection and prices turning, this would be interesting to confirm this current the bullish macro perspective. But at this moment, the latest moments, we see this big red candle in the 60 minutes, and also in 15 minutes, after making a kind of a triangle before and after the regular opening, it started trending downwards, and let's see until where it's going. Here in the 13, we have this. We have the pivot point resistance one, so we could see actually prices working here. We have a good volume, a strong volume, as it could be expected. We have the GDP indicator, forecast. So by this time, we could have maybe 500,000 contracts, maybe. Not sure, but 500, 550. Now we have 690,000 contracts. Let's see if we'll have a breakout here. But we see that we have a kind of a mix. It's kind of mixed here in times and sales. Even though sellers put pressure now, I prefer to see, when I'm considering, for example, a downwards breakout, I would prefer to see more and stronger selling orders here in times and sales. But we're making a kind of pivot. Look at here at the 4,000 ticks. So it's hard to think. It's hard to wondering going against this. Look here. Oh, look at this absorption. Now look here. Now we have intensity. Look how many blocks sellers hit here. Strong absorption at the low. Strong absorption right at the session's low. At the 25, we've seen something similar. They put pressure, and then sellers put pressure, and buyers absorbed 4,000, 5,000 contracts. Now, they found this barrier, buyers absorbing, and let's see if they will come again. But now you see here, now we have the intensity I was telling it was missing. But they can make an exhaustion such as this one. They should continue putting pressure. It should be stronger. It was not an exhaustion, but they should have been. Now they return it. But with an exhaustion at 1050. We are right at the important region, 10. I would say that a better confirmation could be seen from 608, 6 to 8. I would prefer to see prices reaching there, 6 to 8, and see how it would look like. But 610 was 1075 was yesterday's high. Let's see. Oops, let me. You see that now prices are trading below this big absorption here. So let's see if sellers are able to keep putting pressure below that absorption, then it could last a bit longer. Yeah, Aaron, I partially agree, but at the same time, the GDP price index was not that high. It was below the forecast, market forecast. So, in theory, if we had seen GDP above the projections and GDP price index above as well, I think this could be more worrying than the combination we had. But definitely, the warm economy is definitely it's a concern. So in this case, as Pavel mentioned yesterday, they will decide in a meeting by meeting. In this scenario, inflation data will be even more relevant, and we could see actually price shaking or volatility upon the indexes, the release. Look here, an exhaustion at 925, and tomorrow we have the PCE. And the interesting is, you see, when you are reading comments or analysts, you see some people that think that this was the latest raise. Some people think that in September there will be one. Other guys thinks that it will be in November. So it's interesting how the perspectives are mixed. You do not have it's not a one and clear stance. You have different opinions. But anyway, turning to Aaron's point, yes, if there is still room to raise a GDP, a higher GDP, this actually could trigger another raise. It's real. Let's see, probably the PC tomorrow and CPI especially, because June CPI was interesting. It was slow, but they want to see not an isolated point, but the trend. And let's see how it will come in July to try to define or to see a trend starting to be drawn. Maybe, for example, they do not raise in September, but with inflation's data from July, August, and September can maybe let room to a better perspective. Let's see. Now you see that they found market found liquidity. They found kind of balance here. It's kind of balance here. But when you see, look here, the 5 minutes, we see a clear downtrend, isn't it? Yep. Let's see. We see here that yesterday's high was, in theory, this gap, even though the close was at 995. Based on the high, we closed it. We just closed the gap, but as I mentioned before, even though we're seeing a clear downtrend, buyers were active during all the way. We have, you see the left column here and the third volumetric bars. We see lots of absorption in most of the levels. So it does not mean that it fell only with sellers in the room. Buyers were trying to defend, but sellers were stronger, but buyers absorbed a huge amount. Oh, the 925 was respected there. Let's see. Let me put in my 4,000 ticks. Look here. Let's see. For example, here we had a sequence of green candles. Then here we have just two. Now we're trying to make, but you see that for now we are trading below the 20 period moving average, and as such, in theory, we remain in the downtrend. You see here, latest low lower than the previous one. Let's see, the 17 now would be the 17 here. Yeah, 17, but then it would find the 19. 17 could be our first reference. But as long as price does not overcome the 17, or at least the 15, let's say, we could take base as failing to overcome the 15 would be also a signal that also coincides with the moving average. And maybe overcoming the 17 could trigger maybe a bit longer attempt to adjust, but let's see. Then, if we consider moving upwards, 15 would be a region to look at. Then 19, and the main one I'm curious about is the 23, 25. Let's see if the 15 will be reached or not, and if so, how it will. We're seeing here that buyers are putting pressure, but sellers absorbing. You see here. So far moves have kind of slowed down. Let's see. Absorption here, now at 1425, and exhaustion. Let's see if it will overcome the 15. You see that here in 15, prices started to jump and blink a bit more. We know that is an important region, so we could see increasing the struggle. We are right at the 620, 615 is right the EMA here, the 20 moving average in 5 minutes. But as we can see here, it's kind of getting flat. If the average is flat, we could possibly, it's not unusual to see prices getting sideways. And with all this activity, we see that I don't like trading in between when we have this in the volumetric price, we have a relevant volume, even though we have many regions with 8,000, 9,000, we have a relevant volume in all levels of price. This means we have interest from both sides, and when I see this, I usually get a bit less confident, since it could move up, either up or down. In my way of analysis, it kind of, I lose my precision or my perception, then it's not that good. If I would like to see, for example, maybe several candles here finding resistance and maybe making a resistance, but look here at the 4,000 ticks, look the size of this green bar. It started an uptrend move and then a big green bar. At 4,000 ticks, each bar means 4,000 trades. So, as I've explained in one of my videos, I tend to prefer the tick chart because for me it's more representative than time-based, because here for me a big candle is more meaningful than in a time-based, because here I know the volume, not the volume. We don't know the volume because we know the number of trades, and many of these trades could involve many contracts, but at least I knew that there's lots of, in this case, 4,000 trades. Now price I don't like this condition as well. Price gets stopped, 2 ticks above, 2 ticks below. This is, but let's see. Wow, I just mentioned now they started, but you see how few contracts displace 2-3 points, 2 points. This is something I get as info as well. Price are struggling, kind of stop at the pause there, and then few contracts in the sell side were able to displace 2-3 points. Then what would be the key now? Failing to make a new low could lead to then maybe a bullish correction. Let's see until where they will be able to. It would be interesting to see prices moving downwards, and if we see an exhaustion around 11, 12, and then entering bulls re-entering the room, it would be interesting to see. But so far in this condition, for me, I wouldn't be considering doing anything in this region where we are now. I would prefer to see what would happen around the 10 and especially around the 23. Maybe this condition would not lead to any trade for a long time, or maybe in this session. But within this region, with the price activity, or maybe 19, a clear fail here if we see it working as strong. But from 19 to 11, 19 to 10, not. Let's see, my friends. Let's see here. Look at the 4000 ticks. 1525, 1575. Let's see if we will start to see many candles here, or would mean the increase of relevance of this resistance at 15. Failing here at the 16 maybe could lead to a resumption of the correction, but let's see. It's too slow now. It's hard to consider anything. So, yeah, now it's a bit bullish. Let's see the 19. The 18 to 1975. Let's see if it will reach the 20. And now, guys got excited. This would be important to overcome the 19. Let's see if they will have fuel enough to. You see here that now we just crossed the 20 period moving average. Let's see if the price will be able to, buyers will manage to remain above this average. Then we could maybe have a bit stronger perspective in terms of buyers. View up currently at 622. My view up is it only takes into account the regular session. It was not actually an exhaustion, but we've seen that there was a few aggression, small aggression at 19, not an exhaustion. We've seen bid contracts being hit in the bid. So this is kind of the condition. As I was mentioning before, I prefer to be cautious. This kind of volumetric prices kind of mislead me or makes some confusion, and then it gets more difficult for me to find trades within such a a strong region. Now let's see if it remains above 1525, this could be interesting, and then could lead to an exhaustion in 625. Did you see this? And look how quick it reached the 17 again. It seems that maybe now we are kind of getting more bullish. Not now, because we are trying to configure. We are actually starting to configure an uptrend. But you've seen here, we had a correction. We just overcame the 20 periods moving average. We had a correction. The point would be 1525, and we had an exhaustion in 625. Then quickly reached 725. But we're seeing it's not that easy. You see that it already reached to 17. Let's see what will be the case. Anyway, it's too slow. Let's see. Look how interesting here. Look my 4000 tick chart. Tracing up there. We reached here, the downtrend line. Now we just reached it, and there was not a rejection such as in this one. Look how interesting. Kind of rejection, and then quickly, immediately, a big red candle leading to a downward move. Now we reached it with a strong green candle, tried a correction with the red one, then just move it downwards, exhausted, and now moving upwards again. It just confirmed that the 19, you see that the high was right at 19 we mentioned. We mentioned before the 1920. 19 was important, and then it just reached the 20, turn it downwards. Let's see. In this case, when moving upwards again, I'm not considering, but suppose I would be considering it could respect the 1920 and then enter in a counter trend trade. In this eventual second try attempt, I wouldn't do this. Let's see. Let's wait and see about the 15. Let's see what will happen to 15. Few contracts displacing the price. This is not a good signal for buyers. It's a bit strange when price displays with few contracts. It's not that. Let's see if buyers, for example, if sellers will keep putting pressure and buyers will be able to absorb here and resume the if we see the times and sales, it's kind of mixed, but you see that it's lacking big contracts. Here in the middle of the screen is 20 minutes ago. From here that I'm putting the pointer, from here to here, 20 minutes, you see that in the latest 20 minutes, few contracts traded, and this reflects what we're seeing here. Price is kind of slow, no decisions, 20 minutes with no relevant amount of contracts. So when we see a slowdown in these times and sales, you see that it's not the condition I like trading, because I prefer quick trades. Then when price is shaking, a few contracts, some sells, some buys, I don't like this. So, in my opinion, there's not that much to do in such a scenario. But let's see here. If we could see activity increasing here around the 19, let's see. If this time buyers will try to push at the 19, 1850, 19 to 20. It's missing momentum, it's lacking intensity. They should be more aggressive. For example, here, we're close to the decision region, decisive region, and they're just making small trades. You see here, one contract, one big contract. Here, one big trade, not big contract, 17 contracts. So we're seeing that even though it reached the 19 a couple of minutes ago, it's lacking willingness to overcome it. Let's see, 5 minutes. But at the same time, let's see if the 15, 16 will be respected here. Let's see what will be the case. Let's see here. Oh, já. I just draw it. It seems it's going to be broken. Yeah, it was lacking intensity right at the 29. It was at the 19th, excuse me. Oh, the 15. It was easily reaching the 15. This fail at 19 was not actually a good signal for buyers. Let's see, and we're 2 minutes from next candle closing. This would not be an auspicious candle for buyers in the case it closes here around the 15, then closing this way and trading below the 15, after having failed at 19, I think it could maybe test the low. Let's see. Let's erase this project of triangle. So guys, let's spend a couple of minutes here. It would be interesting to see price reaching here again the 11, 12 to 1075 and see how the reaction would be. But we see here that we had an exhaustion at 14. Candle close it. Let's see if they will push and try to put price below the 14. Let's see, 13. Let's see if there will be a false breakout, kind of false breakout here, or they will, an exhaustion at 13.25. It could be expected they remain the pressure but failed. Let's see if sellers, yeah. But we see here, look at the times and sales, keeps lacking, still missing strong activity for sellers to make kind of stronger move downwards. You see that we have only at 4 minutes ago and only one order hitting the 13.25 and it quickly moved upwards. Does not mean necessarily a reversal, but we're seeing that it's kind of, it reached the 18, 19 and sees the move. Now at the 14, no, now it was on the 12. Sees it then quickly at the 14. Let's see. 1275. 1275. I was expecting to see at least something around 20, 12 or 1075. 1275. Well, 1275 is right the resistance one, pivot point resistance one. So guys, I will be finishing in a couple of seconds. Now things not that interesting to comment. It's kind of slow, but just trying to make a summary, make a brief. 10 hours important. Previous region, key region was 606 to 608. Then missing the 10 here for me would remain my curiosity about what could happen on 6 to 8. Respecting 6 to 8 and rejection there, maybe moving upwards again. I would understood the confirmation of the bullish trend. So 606 to 8 is my point here. And upwards, we just seen the 19 is actually important, as I've mentioned before. But my main curiosity was from 23 to 25. Okay, remembering that we have an important Fibonacci at 620. That embraces all this region actually. So 10 down there, 23 to 25 here, and up there 32. Ok? So, Aaron, muito bom ter você no português e aqui no inglês. Cara, brigadão pela companhia diária e por estar junto todo dia. Na sexta-feira, normalmente eu não tenho o compromisso, entre aspas. Oh, sorry. On Fridays, I'm not necessarily doing it, but tomorrow I think I will do it. Then tomorrow I will be here again in English at 10:45. So, Aaron, até amanhã de novo. Guys, for you are watching, thank you so much. If you like and could consider leave a like here, I would appreciate it. It would be interesting for the channel. And really, thank you so much for your support. Hope you enjoy. We have several videos in the channel, not only live transmissions, but with many interesting content. So, watching it, any doubt, please just drop me a comment. I'll be glad in answering you, okay? And I'm always available to discuss all these subjects we keep telling here and that I love. So, thank you. See you tomorrow. Bye.